This week we're reading Parashat Terumah, the contributions that Bnei Israel are invited to bring for the edification of the Mishkan. And this is where the biblical narrative becomes less accessible for some of us, because it's less about stories and what happens and more about very concrete details of which material to bring and what measures and how are we going to build this. And this is where it's so important to remind ourselves of the value of interpretation, of drasha, of parshanut, of commentary. Because we see when we take a Hasidic lens, when we read with a Hasidic lens the biblical text, we see the symbols that there are behind things as apparently pragmatic as gold and silver and this mysterious skin of a fish that is called or tachashim. And the Hasidic master Kedushat Levi is going to comment on this or tachashim, this skin of tachash, and he's going to compare it to something that might surprise you, which is what we say in Aramaic, milcha de bdichuta, words of lightness, jokes basically. And he says, it's similar in that for the skin of the tachash, achitzoniut lo hayatov ve'apnimiut hayatov. Its exteriority wasn't necessarily good, wasn't necessarily pleasant. And sometimes humor can be harsh. Humor can kind of scratch the surface of things and can sting a little bit, right? Actually, today humor is quite not well received. I mean, there are many things, many jokes we can't say anymore in the world of political correctness, where everybody's going to get offended if I talk about this and that, right? Betzchok, jokingly. But he says, but the interiority is good, because the criteria is, are my words of joke coming from a place of Yirat Hashem? Because that's the ikar, that's the essence. If deep inside it's coming from a deep respect of life, then actually jokes are a wonderful way, he says, to convey important messages in a way that is lighter and in a way that's going to enable these messages to be better received. And it's not a coincidence if he's talking about this now, because we're in the month of Adar and we're walking towards Purim, where the ethos of Purim is a lot about turning things upside down and making jokes about things and really humor. And this is a praise for stand-up comedy all over the world, how much it saves societies, I think, by telling them their truths, by telling us our truths while making us laugh. Shabbat Shalom.